Alright, so in this video, I wanted to talk about the Tekken 7 player base and some of my ideas on how to retain the player base in the long term without having to rely on consistent updates only. So of course, consistent updates are fun, balance changes, new stages, new characters. That's all really fun and exciting, but it may not be sustainable forever. So I think that there are some things that they could do to make the game fun enough for players to keep returning to it and still be fresh for the long term. So first I want to start off with this tweet that Kokoma posted not too long ago, a few days ago. And he talks about viewer count and player base issues. So I'm just going to focus on the player base issues for right now. But he said the viewer count is pretty low. Most players, of course he's exaggerating a bit here, but he says lots of players can just play for 4 hours and make Tekken God Prime very easily. So all players that aren't pros just kind of end up quitting the game because they don't have aspirations to go to tournaments and stuff like that. So once they get Tekken God Prime, they feel like they're done and then they kind of quit. Because there's no more challenge and there's not really much more content in the game. And I kind of agree with this. So I want to address this point here. He's basically saying that Tekken God Prime is a little bit oversaturated. And I kind of agree with this. In Tekken God Prime, there are players sort of at the lower spectrum of Tekken God Prime and at the higher spectrum of Tekken God Prime. And the skill level between the two are vastly different. So a lot of players who are just, they're pretty good, they're pretty decent, but they probably shouldn't be Tekken God Primes. They still get there relatively easily, and then they're not really sure what else to do anymore because they don't really have aspirations to go to tournaments and be the best player in the world. They sort of just wanted to rank up and have goals in rank match. So aside from the points that Kokoma made about that, I also want to add that sometimes it's a little bit hard for players to find matches in rank match. The player base that's playing ranked isn't very high, and that includes me. I don't play rank match really at all. So I have an idea on how to solve the oversaturation, or at least how to work towards solving the oversaturation in Tekken God Prime in the higher ranks, and how to also sort of revitalize that player base to want to play rank match more, which could result in everyone finding more matches. So here's my personal idea. I know people in the comments are probably going to kill me for this, some people, but before you kill me, just let me get my entire idea out first. So I think that with each season, ranks should be reset. And this happens in quite a few different games, like League of Legends, for example, and games like that, where your rank gets reset every single season. I'm going to talk about how that could look in Tekken. So I think everyone's rank should be reset at the beginning of each season. This would solve the saturation issue in Tekken God Prime. So players who reach Tekken God Prime very easily, even when they're not really as good as players who are at the higher spectrum of Tekken God Prime. This could work to make that not as much of an issue anymore, and people who achieve Tekken God Prime would really have to work for it. It'd be much harder and much more challenging, and in turn a much bigger accomplishment. Also, I believe that the rank that you're currently at this season should affect how far you get pushed back next season. So I would personally reset people's ranks down 3 tiers below where they're currently at for next season. So if you're a Genbu, I think you should be reset down to a brawler. If you're a Fujin, you should be reset down to like a Vanquisher, I think. Whatever 3 tiers are below that. And no matter what, I think that the highest you should be able to be reset to is a Genbu. So if you're Tekken God Prime, you still get thrown back all the way down to Genbu. So yeah, like I said, that would really address the oversaturation issue in Tekken God Prime currently. Now, I also want to address the player base issue in a rank match, and this may not solve it completely, but I think this might help a little bit to make rank matches a little bit more enticing to play. So I'm going to talk about that now. Alright, so in return for losing your rank at the end of a season, I think you should be rewarded depending on the level of rank that you attained in the previous season. So my sample idea, of course this could be changed or whatever, I'm sure more artistic players would have much more aesthetically pleasing ideas, but here's like my sample idea. So in this loading screen here, players could get like, say, an Iron Fist statue that would be rotating in the corner up here. And this player would have it rotating up here. And whatever rank you attained in the previous season could have like a fiery aura around it that is the color of the tier of rank you attained. So if this player here achieved Genbu or Byakko last season, he would have a red fiery aura surrounding the statue of an Iron Fist that's like rotating up here in the top corner. And if this player reached Mighty Ruler last season, then he would have the same statue of the Iron Fist rotating, but he would have like a fiery purple aura surrounding it. at the same time. And maybe if you get Tekken God Prime, you would have like parts of each aura. You have like a red and blue and gold and purple aura, kind of surrounding it somehow, or something similar to that. But yeah, I just think that resetting ranks would make the game more exciting in rank match, and giving rewards for whatever rank that you attained would again make it more exciting, and that could increase the player base, especially towards the end of a season where you're really trying to grind out those last couple of ranks to achieve that reward that you really want. So those are kind of some of my ideas to help to retain the player base in the long run. But I think those rank changes would be a very good start to keeping the player base consistent and making ranked matches a lot more enticing to play for all players by adding in those rewards that can only be obtained through achieving a certain rank. And you can really use them to show off your hard work and accomplishment from the previous season. So that'll about wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you agree or disagree, or do you have any ideas to retain the player base and increase Twitch viewership maybe? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.